Optimism show all up in your area. Friday, music show Friday. And we're here, we're here. We're. Yeah. Everything is gonna, yeah. When I say it's gonna be all right, yeah, Friday, baby. Crystal, where you going, baby? This is what we're going to do. Tonight, we're talking about the music and the business. Who says it's not fair? That like button, y'all. Please don't front on me. Friday. Some of us are glad to be here, and some of us are lucky to be here. What's your status? Update your status. T carry right. J J J. Yeah. Yo. We make it happen. Yeah. Daily go-getterism show. Yeah. Y'all know how it go. And I'm glad to be here with y'all. Yo. No matter what the weather, stand tall. Just like a tree that grows over the years. Yo. Do a little thing over a couple of beers. But if you stop drinking, I'm thinking that you're trying to clean up your life and get your 3 kids and a wife. Make sure you make it happen in this world because you only got one chance. So make sure you get in the dance and dance your ass off like nobody's looking. You know how you do when you taste your own cooking. Everything is going to turn out good, and I expect that. I know that it really should. And if it don't, well, you try again, but you get one chance again and again and again. Reinvent yourself. Take care of your health, and you know your health is wealth. This word. Because all the money in the world can make you feel better if you're sick out here, my girl. What the deal is? Tori, what's good, my that like button, y'all. Please do that for me. Only gonna ask y'all to do one thing. I ain't trying to be an emperor or a king. I'm just trying to make sure that I get the algorithm, do this thing. Yo, I'm really trying to get with them. Everything is gonna be all right. And I say that every day, afternoon, even the night. Because I know that it's going to ring true. So I try to make sure that I propel that to you. And that's my word tonight. Everything is going to be what? Everything will be all right. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This your daily. It's the daily go-getterism show. You think it ain't when it is. You think it won't when it is. We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing. Taking all fast lane, no coasting. And everything is gonna be all right. We talk about the music and the business. Who says it ain't fair tonight? Who says it ain't fair? Yo, I got this pain on my left side because I sneezed tonight and it felt like somebody stabbed me. Could I have sneezed and pulled a muscle? Did I herniate myself? When you have a hernia, you stand in the groin, right? Shit is fucked up. Scared out here. Scared. What up, Alex? Alex K. All right. Says, give me a shout out because it's my birthday. Is it really your birthday? Is it? Because people do that all the time. You know, they come out here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to shout you out anyway because I am. It's all good. It really is. Señorita Ramirez. Señorita Ramirez. Señorita Ramirez. Maria Ramirez is en la casa. Maria Ramirez is en la casa. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, tonight we're talking about the music and the business. The music and the business. Who says it ain't fair? You know, we hear about artists all the time talking about how they got jerked. They signed a bad contract. They didn't get what they were supposed to get. It was predatory contract signing and things like that. And, you know, with some of the artists that we know about, those who have been publicized that way, it does seem like some of them have gotten a raw deal. But from an industry perspective, from an industry insider perspective, how do you get jerked on a record deal? How, you know, when it comes to a contract, the only way I see that you can get jerked on a contract is if the contract clearly states something that you were supposed to get something and then it wasn't delivered to you. Simple as that. Now, what it seems like with some people is that they expected to get something, like maybe in good faith, that may not have been in the contract. Anybody who's ever signed any type of entertainment contract, whether it was to be on a TV show or a movie, or sign a record contract, what they call a record deal, and you'll start to see that, like, maybe if you would have read it, it probably would have turned out a little better for you. But hey, I mean, what do you really expect when you don't read a contract or really understand the way that business works? Well, when you don't understand the way that something works, then it's going to be hard for you to win the game. Like, let's say you were a really good shooter in basketball. I'm not saying that you were a really good basketball player. You were a really good shooter. So anywhere on the court, you could potentially make the shot. But if you don't understand defense, if you don't understand the rules of the game, you're not going to be able to play because you're going to be fouling out all the time. If you think that the rules don't apply to you, so you think you can just catch the ball and shoot. Well, if you're all the way on the other side of the court, the likelihood that those shots are going to go in are very low, and no coach is going to put somebody on the team that is selfish that way, to whereas they won't push the ball up the court or give anybody else a chance to handle the rock. So I'm saying all of that to say this. When you sign a contract and you don't read a contract, or you don't understand what you're reading in a contract, how are you going to know what you are supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do? You know how, like, if you were anything like me, when you used to buy records, tapes, and CDs, you would look in the credits to see who produced what and what artists were featured on an album and stuff like that. And one thing I used to always notice is that anytime an artist that wasn't on the album, or that wasn't part of that group or that artist, whenever they appeared on that album, it said courtesy of this record company or that record company. And even all the way back in the day, when I didn't understand contracts or records or how the business goes, I said, well, if they have to list their record company as a source of them performing, that lets me know that they didn't just, do a favor. They got paid, but if they're saying courtesy of such and such records, that meant to me that record company is getting paid, and probably more than the artist. So it would say something like Big Daddy Kane, courtesy of Cold Chillin' Records, or Chuck D, courtesy of Def Jam Records, or LL Cool J, courtesy of Def Jam Records, or Run DMC, courtesy of Profile Records. So you can see that those record companies were not just representation. They had a stake in that artist and what they could do and what they couldn't do. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what if the artist doesn't have a record company? And I have seen unsigned artists featured on a track. And it didn't say courtesy of nothing. So he probably just, received whatever fee that they gave him. But I bet you that artist wasn't receiving any royalties from those record sales. They probably received a fee to appear on that track. Now, a good example of this, we'll get into this. Let me put my hardware away. Let me put my bum 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 bum. Let me put my toys away, and then we can go ahead and have this contract. I mean, look, I'm thinking contractually. Got me saying have this contract instead of have this conversation. All right. One example that comes to mind when I think about this is Slick Rick. Slick Rick, when he appeared on Dougie Fresh's song, Lottie Dottie, and The Show. Now, you know what a big record The Show was and Lottie Dottie. That was one single that blew up. I don't know if it went gold or platinum, whatever. I know that people love that song. It sold a bunch of records, a bunch of copies, I should say. And what I found out later on through hearing interviews with Slick Rick was part of the Get Fresh crew. It was called Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew. So Dougie Fresh was the main act. He was the main character. He was the one who was getting paid. So Slick Rick wasn't getting no royalties off of Lottie Dottie and The Show. Dougie Fresh was. Now, who's to say how much Dougie Fresh was getting? Because back then, rap artists wasn't getting no real good contracts. They was getting pennies. Their points wasn't shit. But one thing that caught my attention about what Slick Rick was talking about, he said they would do a show and Dougie Fresh would get like $6,000 for a show, which was a lot of money for a rap act back in 1985. He said Doug would get like 6,000 and he would get like 600. And he was like, hell no. Because Slick Rick is thinking like, I'm the one who made those records. My rhyme, my style, my swag made those records. And he was right. He was right. But what did the contract say? Now, was Slick Rick thinking about all of that when he made those songs with Dougie Fresh? I'm sure he wasn't. Was there even a contract that he had? I'm sure that there was. In order for them to put the record out, the contract had to be signed. But he probably had a performance contract instead of a contract that had points. So points are the percentages that you get when a record sells. Now, the record company is going to get the lion's share of the money, and you're going to get just a little itty bitty bit of money. That's why when you hear about these artists going multi-platinum and all of that kind of stuff, if you're a new artist, that doesn't mean that you're going to be rich and all of that kind of stuff. But because you're doing these shows and things like that, there are other ways to get money. But when you don't understand the business, it'll be easy for you to think that you got jerked or you got robbed or you got shorted or, you just didn't get a good deal. But is that a fact? Is that the case? What up, JJ? Oh, damn. JJ said, you can have hernias anywhere. They are basically a tear in the lining of an abdominal wall. I got one from a sneeze once and had to have surgery. God damn. Thanks. Rats. And JJ also says record contracts used to be tricky. I'm not sure about now. I have a number of friends who have had record deals. I had some friends in the 90s who were given a big contract, but fully understand it. Or do you mean that they didn't fully understand it? You said they received $2 million up front. Wow. But that money had to be used to record, produce, and market the first album and support them through the first tour. They bought a truckload of equipment first. I see where this is going. Then they hired Bob Rock, a world-renowned producer, to produce the album for $250,000. At that point, studio time was around $300 an hour. Woo, okay. The studio cost didn't include personnel. Then they had to have artwork for the covers, lawyers, and accountants. The money they received was in advance. It had to be repaid to Mercury. Oh my God. Trying to pay back $2 million? Oh man. Trying to recoup $2 million? Do you know how many records you have to sell in order to pay back $2 million? Well, it depends on how you look at it. Because the records that you sell may not be for the price that you're thinking. Yeah, that's a toughie. That's a toughie right there. But I see you see where this is going, and I see where this is going. So yeah, that's an issue. And I could understand how a music artist group, or a group of music artists, I could see how they could find themselves in a lot of financial trouble really easily without understanding how the contract works. I could see that really crystal clear. Let me see here. Let me get this thing right. Okay. So, JK says, the stress of money issues broke the band up. Yeah. Now, I'm interested in knowing how many band members were there? How many people were in the band? Because when you gotta split money a lot of different ways, and then you're getting into arguments and disagreements about who wrote what, whose contribution is what. And, band members are thinking that everything should be split down the middle. And the middle may be hard to find. What up, Blood Fart? What's good, my dude? It's been a little while. It's good to see you always. JJ says you often have factory workers and mechanics and normal guys who just do not understand the business side of music. I'm glad you brought up factory workers and mechanics and normal guys. Because when you work at a 9-to-5 job, nowadays, you sign a contract when you get a job. And there's a whole lot of shit in those contracts that nobody reads. All you know is that you get paid a certain amount of money per hour, and there may be opportunities for advancement. Like you can move up in the company, you can get overtime sometimes, You know, you can get bonuses if you do certain things, this, that, and the third. So you get it. One thing you understand when you work at a 9 to 5 job, one thing that most people who work a 9 to 5 job misunderstand is where their salary comes from. They have no idea. All they know is that it's a company and they have to hire people, and they do hire people and they pay people. They don't know, they don't understand about budgeting and all of that. You don't really get into that until you get into the managerial area. So, but when you get a 9 to 5 job, you do sign a contract. You don't read it, but there are things in there that can come back and bite you in the ass. Certain rules that have to be followed on the job site. They have a section in there nowadays about social media, what you can and cannot do on social media, code of conduct, all kinds of things are in that contract. But people don't read that shit. So when they get mad at their job and go on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever social media account that they use, and they blast their job, you know, talk bad about their job and all that, and wind up getting fired, and they don't know why. Because it was in your contract that you can't do that. It was in there. You didn't read it because you didn't give a fuck. And you didn't think it would be an issue. So you signed a contract, but you thought that you could still do whatever you wanted to do. And your position was probably that I wasn't on the job. So why can't I do whatever I want off of the job? You know how many people think that you can beat up somebody who works at the job as long as you don't do it at work? You'd be amazed. Or maybe you wouldn't. Y'all might know that. I know people who think that as long as they go around the corner, they can beat up somebody who works on their job. It's in your contract that you can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? So the reason I brought up the 9 to 5 job is that just like people don't read the contract that they 9 to 5 job, there's a good chance that they don't read their contracts when they sign them for a record deal. There's a good chance that they don't read them. Now, why anybody would sign a record contract or any type of entertainment contract without having the presence of a lawyer or having a lawyer look it over, I don't know. In the case with your friends, JJ, they got $2 million. They absolutely should have. They absolutely got enough money to have a lawyer look over their contract. And yeah, and see, back in the day, record companies would invest in artists. So that sounds like what they were doing with your band, JJ. $2 million, that's an investment. That's a lot of money for a startup. You know, for an act that hasn't proven themselves yet. You know, I mean, people would have got some low rate producer to produce that album, and they would have kept most of that 2 million. They would have treated that shit like a signing bonus instead of their advance. But okay. All right. JJ says, to the average Joe, any music contract is a dream come true. People really do sell their souls to the devil. It's just not the guy going down to the crossroads. They're going to some big office. Yeah. It's like a pitcher or a quarterback who can't ride a bike or play touch football with their kids because they might get injured. That's a very good analogy. A very good analogy. But when you sign a record contract, there are things in the record contract that say that you can do things and that you can't do things. So like recently, in today's culture, especially like the hip hop culture, you hear a lot of cats making mixtapes and they be having features of signed artists on their mixtapes. Now I found out how this gets done. Cause I was like, how are you getting paid away from your record company and appearing on these mixtapes? The rapper PD Crack. The rapper PD Crack, I had a chance to go to his house. We were doing some work together. And he wanted me on some tracks on his mixtape. And I was asking him, I was like, well, how are you appearing on mixtapes for a flat fee without your record company knowing? He said, what you gotta tell him is that you made that record before you got signed. So even though it came out, it doesn't mean that it just got made. So they don't have any way of proving it. And they kind of know that you're going to do your little thing on the side anyway, because they know they ain't feeding you enough to only do records for them. So there are ways you can get around certain things. Did I get him? Oh, yeah, I did. Bitch ass nigga. Beach. But yeah. It's all in the contract. You can't get money with another record company unless we approve it. Ain't gonna happen. You can't get paid. So there's so much to talk about with this topic. And it may be a particular interest for some people. And then for some people, you might be thinking like, I don't know. The group The Lox that was signed to Bad Boy. They said that they signed a bad contract with Puffy. P. Diddy. And what P. Diddy used to do was he used to sign people to long contracts. 8, 9 album deal. And some of those artists wouldn't even come out with one album. He would shelve their projects. But they couldn't go anywhere else and get paid because they were still under contract with Bad Boy. Well, sometimes if an artist was really successful or a group was really successful, what they would do was
you have a call from.
They would sort of buy that artist out and do a joint venture. And I'll explain how that has worked with some artists in some circles before. Like in the case with the Lox, they weren't able to leave Bad Boy because, you know, Puffy had them signed to a multi-album deal and they had only done one album with Bad Boy. So even though they wanted to go with Rough Riders, they couldn't do it. So what Rough Riders did is he did a joint venture with Bad Boy and Puffy. And so the Lox could record on Rough Riders, but it was courtesy of Bad Boy Records. So Puffy was getting paid a large percentage of whatever the Lox made. What this means is that the Lox wasn't getting paid even though they had a new contract with Rough Riders. So they really heavily depended on their show money. And then they did solo albums where they could actually see Puffy had them signed as a group. He didn't have them signed individually. So when Jadakiss did his solo project, he could get more money from that. Same thing with Sheik Luch and Styles P. So So that also happened with 112, the group 112, very good group, and they were on Bad Boy, and they had a multi-album deal, and they didn't like the contract that they signed, and they wanted to be released, and Puffy wouldn't release them, and Def Jam did a joint venture with Bad Boy, and so I think 112 did like 2 albums with Def Jam Records, courtesy of Bad Boy Records. So when you look at their album, you see the Bad Boy symbol in the credits. Same thing with the Locks. Shit is crazy. So it's all contractual. Now, by the time they tried to go to another company, they understood the business a whole lot better. But they didn't understand the business very well when they signed that first contract because they were hungry artists. You know, they just wanted to, what they say, I just want to be on. I just want to get put on. They don't really realize that the money that you see in those videos with all those other artists ain't going to come to you because you ain't got no contract that says it. But you'll be looking like you getting money just like those other artists do. Because it's all makeup and props and shit like that. You ain't own none of that shit. Cam's Wims, what's good, man? How you feeling tonight?
What's up? Hey, son. Hey, chat. Hey, family.
Cheer. So it's all...
Let me ask you, though, before you go any place else, didn't he put the Locks in like a long-term...
Yeah, they had a multi-album deal.
Kind of long publishing contract where they just really could not get out for years.
Yeah. And then he finally released them years later, you know, but they put, when they put out their second album, We Are the Streets, I believe the album was called. Good album. Wild Out. No, it was a good album. But that came out on Rough Riders Records. But like I said, when you look in the credits, you see Bad Boy Records down the bottom. So that means...
He did that with all the artists. Didn't he do that with basically everybody?
Well, not everybody got a deal with anybody else. Mm-hmm. So 112 and I think 112, Carl Thomas, the Locks, and I think he actually released Craig Mack. I think he released Craig Mack. Because when Craig Mack did his other albums, I didn't see Bad Boy Records in the credits. So he may have actually released Craig Mack. But the rest of them, I think out of spite, he wouldn't release. I'm like, no.
I don't even understand why you hear this from, like you heard your musical cohort have these issues, and then you go side with it too. Like, it's like a woman women who keep having babies by the same trifling ass man who he didn't take care of these kids over here, but you just said, let me go fuck him and have a baby too. He's gonna take care of mine. And then he don't take care of yours. And then it's 10 babies in, and then here comes the 11th chick, and she does the same thing, and he's gonna take care of mine. It's like, if you see this pattern with other people, why would you continue to do it? I've never understood that at all. Because it seems like everybody has the same Diddy story, the same Bad Boy story.
Do you know how to skate?
Say it again?
Do you know how to roller skate?
No.
Okay.
I wish I had learned. That's one of my regrets.
Do you know how to ride a bike?
Of course.
Okay. So when you rode a bike, did you ever fall on a bike, or were you good enough to just be able to ride?
Both. Okay,
so after you got good, you didn't fall anymore, right?
True.
All right. So
no, there was a couple falls. Well.
Okay. All right. Maybe sometimes you wasn't paying attention or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you might have crashed and shit. Okay. But for the most part, you could ride a bike.
Yeah.
Okay. So those artists, they think that they got jerked. That doesn't mean I'm going to get jerked. They signed their contract that they signed. I'm going to sign the one that I signed. So the reason that I asked you about the roller skating thing is because when you get good at roller skating, you don't care about pads and helmets and all that kind of shit because you ain't going to fall. So just like those artists, just like you a great roller skater and you know that you're not going to fall, you expect those other skaters who are not that good to fall, and they do. So they might be looking at those other artists who sign those bad contracts or who make those bad business decisions as they were inexperienced. They were novices. They didn't know what they were doing, but you do. And there is a certain amount of truth to it. There's a certain amount of truth to it. I mean, think about it. Mace didn't really get jerked. He didn't. Actually, he won in the end.
Yeah, but look how long it took.
No, he won in the beginning because he had $2 million. Like Puffy gave him money to make that next album and he didn't make it. He took the money, went down south and became a pastor. And that's what Puffy was pissed off about. So when he came back to, trying to get down with 50, Puffy was like, no, the fuck you ain't. You got $2 million of my money. I'll be if 50 want to buy you out like D and Y what Rough Riders did with the Locks and Leo Cohen and the other black dude I can't remember, the Fat Boy did with Def Jam, fine. But what you not going to do is think you just going to skate over here like and make records with 50 like I released you. You can make all the songs with 50 you want. He going to pay me for them. So that's why I named this show Who Says It Ain't Fair? And it's not that it ain't fair. Just because you don't read something or understand something, that don't make it unfair. It may not be ethical, but it might be fair. JJ says Mace just wasn't no biggie. Mace is dope. Yeah, he wasn't no biggie, but Mace was Mace. He didn't have to be no biggie. He sold as many records as Biggie did, though. He did.
We know the scammer and the whole thing was Sean. So at the end of the day,
the scammer was who?
Sean.
Oh, now Shine wasn't no biggie. I don't know what the fuck they was playing.
I didn't say Shine. I said Sean. I'm talking about Puff Daddy.
Oh, Sean. Oh.
Pervert, whatever you want to call him, that nigga there, he's the one.
Hey, a contract is a contract. A contract is a contract. You got lawyers available just like everybody else. But what separates what Sean did versus any other record company?
I think a lot of them do it. Did it then, and some still try to do it now, but it's different now. You would think, let me say you would think, because there's still some new artists who got caught up in some of the same kind of antics that others did back then, like Megan Thee Stallion. She had that big beef with her record label going back and forth, and it's just kind of like, this is 20 anything. How did you not see the past history of other artists that you didn't go into? And it could just been, she was trying to make money. I don't know. In any case, it's all predatory behaviors. Some of it is predatory behavior. Some of it is, the artist not understanding how things work. And all of them do it, in my opinion, but I just think it's a little different now. Like artists are going into it, owning their masters, and some of them are just doing the work themselves and leaving out the record label. You know, that's the plus side, and I know a lot of people complain about it and are upset about it, but that's the plus side with this new digital age. They don't have to wait on a record label. They don't need a record label. They know how to do the work. They get out there and do it themselves, and they can do everything themselves and hold all their money, their masters, control it all. And a lot of artists are doing that. And I celebrate it. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Well, artists have been doing this for a long time, but there used to be the thing about being an independent artist, especially back in the days, that you couldn't get your record played. You couldn't get it played nationally because you had to physically be there to give the DJs the records to play. And having a record label gave you the distribution to be able to do that. There was no way your record was going to make it overseas if you were an independent artist just pressing up your own records. You know what I mean? But that's not to say that you couldn't sell records, because MC Hammer sold a bunch of records before he signed with Capitol. And that's why Capitol gave him they gave him stacks and stacks, because he was already getting paid. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody doesn't misunderstand the business. Hammer understood. When Capitol came to him, he was like, look, I'm already getting this. So don't come to me with that bullshit little money that you talking about, because I will just keep selling my records out of my trunk and it'll be like that. But because they knew if he could sell this much locally, nationally, internationally, this motherfucker was going to blow crazy. And he did. Now, why would they take a risk like that on an unknown artist that just has talent? He ain't sold nothing. Everybody got talent. Why would I give you a bunch of money, a high percentage, when you're really nothing but a worker? Yeah, you know how to play some instruments and you know how to sing.
Yeah, but now they don't even have to worry about that. These young or talented and not talented, let's be honest, some of them are not. You know, they don't need the labels anymore. They don't need physical CDs, they don't need vinyl, they don't need cassettes. They make their money now off of streaming. So
how much money?
Digital records, they make money off of YouTube monetization, they make money off of digital licensing. They can sync placements in different places. That's how they make their money now. So it is a different game for them for sure. And they don't need these record labels. So I don't think they have a chance. It's not as predatory. And as far as on a national level, if they know how to go viral, they understand the algorithm, they know how to do the social media, the world of social media, that can really take them, they can go viral without a record label anymore across the globe. So
okay,
it changes some of that predatory behavior. And actually the record labels now are looking for these artists themselves, because some of them don't know how to squeeze in the digital world.
All right, Kim, the same thing you're talking about today in 2025, could you have talked that way in 1985 or 1995?
Of course not. None of this stuff existed then.
Okay.
Especially not at this pace. I'm not talking about artists then. I'm speaking to the change in things now, how it's different now, although I still didn't understand how some artists are still under the same, still get taken advantage of, still fall under the same thing, even with having a contract. I know they go in not knowing the legalese of the whole thing. And of course, the record label puts in a lot of small print, a lot of words, a lot of phrases that only an attorney will understand. And a lot of people are not going to stop and read a contract in full. Like I work with contracts. So sometimes I have to tell people, read that over, read it 3 times before we move forward, because I don't want a problem after we start this contract. So read it over 3 times. And if you need to get an attorney, do that. And if you don't do anything else, use one of these platforms like a Gemini, Cloud, ChatGPT, so it can break it down and summarize it to you like you're a baby, so we don't have any issues. I still don't understand in this day and age, there are still artists, again, like Megan Thee Stallion, who was getting taken advantage of. She is an artist who is in the digital age. She didn't come out in the 90s. She came out at a time where she could have used any, like Google, any tool to understand her contract more before she even ended up in that predatory situation. But again, it could be she just was like, I need to make this money. I'm going to do whatever, forget that contract or forget what it says. Let me go in and get this money right now. I need to get my shit out here and for people to get it. I'm just speaking to, I don't understand how someone is still getting taken advantage of in this day and age.
I don't see why. I don't see why you don't understand that.
No, I don't.
Just like you couldn't have spoken this way in 1995 and maybe not 2005 and maybe not 2015. You can talk like this in 2025 because you know it. And once you know something, sometimes we expect everybody else to see what we've seen or know what we've known because we think that we're coming into the knowledge late, but we're not. So the bottom line is, if you are offered a contract, then you know that there's going to be upfront money with that contract. Why would you ever sign a contract without legal representation?
Oh, that's true.
And everybody has the opportunity to have legal representation. So why would you do it? I don't see how you can blame anybody but yourself if you don't have legal representation and you're entering into a situation, entering into a contract where they're going to be thousands or potentially millions of dollars. I can't see how that makes any kind of sense. Because you've already fucked up phase 1. So once you get to phase 3, you talking about it was a predatory. The word predatory shouldn't come out of your mouth. You fucked up from the beginning. And that ain't nobody's fault. They delivered whatever was on that contract. They delivered it. You just don't like what was supposed to be delivered. You thought you was going to sign a contract for millions of dollars and be able to do whatever you wanted to do. Well, where they do that at?
Again, I think it's a lot of legalese that's involved, and people don't understand it, and they don't. They know some of these young people, like with TLC, they know they were young kids. They didn't understand. They didn't have money to get an attorney and all these things. That's why I say it's predatory in some cases.
You do have money to get an attorney.
In the 50s and the 60s, it was predatory. They knew these people were poor and didn't have money. They knew they were talented. They knew they could make money off of them. But they didn't have money to go and get an attorney. They knew this. Some of them
okay, all right. Hold on.
Extremely smart.
Hold on. If they didn't have money to get an attorney, right, to before they signed the contract, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what are they bitching about later on about not making money?
Explain that.
Okay, so you're saying that you didn't have enough money to sign the contract, so you just signed it, right? So
no, I said they didn't have money to get an attorney to go over the contract.
That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough money to get an attorney to look over the contract, so they just signed the contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they had to have made some kind of money because now they bitching about they not getting the money that they're supposed to get, right?
No, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but that's what they bitching about. They're bitching because they think that they should be making more money than they're making, but they didn't read the fucking contract that clearly told them that they wasn't going to make no money.
No. Again, I go back to some of the artists from the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Again, I believe it was predatory because these record labels knew some of these people weren't the brightest. They knew they were young. They knew they could make money off of them. They knew they couldn't afford to get an attorney to look at anything. So they took advantage. It is predatory.
So you think it's predatory because somebody may not be good at reading or writing or investigating or taking care of business matters. You think that
absolutely predatory.
Oh, okay. So
if you know
okay.
you can take advantage of this person and you seek to do that, it is predatory.
Okay. All right. So you say it's predatory, and I understand why you're saying that, but I'm just not sure if I fully agree, because there's a difference between, you're talking about things from an ethical standpoint, and ethics aren't always consistent in the way that they work. Because if you're talking about business and then you're talking about good faith, you're not going to come up with the same things. Nobody is in business in order to be nice to people. That's just an advertising campaign. That's what it is. But business people understand that. And the consumers or the public, they don't understand that. And that's fine. It's just like when you put it on a performance on stage and you do so well that people think that it's real. And it ain't real. It's a show. But the show goes on for the money. So if you want to go back to the 40s and 50s and all of that, when you had a bunch of illiterate artists, like the whole Rat Pack, nobody in the Rat Pack graduated high school. They was all dropouts. So there's a good chance that they didn't understand the legalese like you were talking about. Whose fault is that?
I'm not saying it's whose fault. I'm just speaking to it being predatory practices.
I'm not sure if it's predatory.
There's no misunderstanding. We know it's the responsibility of the artist, the person who's signing the contract. However, it doesn't remove the fact that it's predatory.
Wait. Explain to me what makes it predatory.
Again, if you know you can take advantage of a person or situation and you seek out to do it purposefully, it is predatory.
Well, then I need to know, what is taking advantage of somebody?
Because if they know these people aren't the brightest, they know these people are poor, they know they can say specific terms and words to entice them, they know they can use the whole, what we call FOMO. I don't know what they would call it back then, but they can use that to pressure them. That is taking advantage, especially young kids who were sneaking to go get involved in this world. Maybe their Christian religious parents said, no, you can't go sing the devil's music. And then they trying to go behind their parents' back to get into it. They know they don't have an adult to protect them. They didn't have adults to protect them. They know they were uneducated. They knew that these were hungry artists looking to make some money, and they purposefully set out to take advantage. It is predatory.
I don't know. Like, if you don't deliver on the contract that you drew up because you knew that somebody couldn't read the contract, that's predatory to me. But if you did what was in the contract, I'm not sure if I consider that to be predatory. They said
exactly what I said. You just said exactly what I said. If you do a contract knowing a person couldn't read, that's predatory. That's what I'm saying.
No, I said, if you don't deliver on the contract because you knew a person couldn't read the contract. If you did what was in if you did what the contract stated, then I don't consider that to be predatory.
I'm standing on it. It's still predatory.
Okay, you can stand on it all you want. We're not talking about the same thing. That's all I'm saying. My thing is, did you do what you said that you were supposed to do? Because if you did what you said you were supposed to do, then you honored the contract. If you didn't do what the contract said that you were supposed to do, then you were dishonorable. And
They
that
can
is
be two things at the same time. They can make do on what they say the contract says, especially when it's legalese involved. They can make do on that, but it doesn't change the fact that they're not predators. That it doesn't musical predators. Well, in Puffy case, he was a different kind of predator too. It doesn't change that. It's still they are doing predatory practices.
so. You what do you think they should like train the artists and educate them on?
No, I'm not saying they should do that at all. And again, especially right now in 2020, anything. No, no. That's why I said I don't understand how someone is taken advantage of in 2020, anything. I don't.
Well,
Because they have the opportunity to get all of the advice, to get all of the understanding, to break down any legalese they don't understand, if they can read, write, or not. They have everything, every tool at their hand right now that they can use to understand a contract. So that's why I'm saying I'm confused where Megan Thee Stallion has been taken, in her words, she was taken advantage of when she has everything in 2020, anything to understand or for her to have understood her contract. Now we know she won her case and all those things, but she should have never been in that position. That's just my thoughts on it. In 20 anything, when everything is right there, and especially now, any artist coming after this whole new digital age of AI, there is no excuse for anyone not to understand their contract. So if I hear that another artist after this is taken advantage of, then I'm like, it's totally 100% their fault, because there's no excuse for them to be taken advantage of when everything is there for them to understand. But I do believe previously that some of those labels, like a Bad Boy label, he knew what he was doing. He knew he was taking advantage of it. He knew he was taking advantage of his artists. And again, I don't know how they just continue. You heard it from this one, that one, the third one, and then you decide, I'm the one he's not going to treat like that. And again, I compare it to women who continue to have children with a man who already has a bunch of children he doesn't take care of. And you decide, hey, I'm the better one. I'm the different one. He's going to take care of my baby. And that's what I felt like artists did with Bad Boy. I'm the one he's going to treat right. I understand my contract better. And there's no way he put anything in there that's a loophole, or that's a loophole that he can jump into where I lose.
They were 8, 9 album deals. How do you 8 or 9 albums? You signed a contract for an 8 or 9 album deal before your album was even made? Like, I'm not trying to agree with what Puffy did. But
I'm not agreeing with what he did either. That's why I'm saying.
Wait a minute. Wait. I'm not saying that I agree with what he did, but I don't agree with what they did either. Just because you a dummy doesn't mean we can't get money. It don't mean that. And just because you I ain't got time to take you back to school. That was your parents' job. That was whoever you grew up with. They should have done that shit. But I put forth this contract for you, and you signed it. You could have went and got a lawyer. It wasn't like I said, you got to sign it right here, right now, or it's void, or I ain't offered to. I gave you a chance to take it home. Take it home, have it, look it over, show whoever you need, do whatever you need to do, come back.
And that's why I don't understand the artists who watched him do that to other ones when did the same thing. I don't understand that.
I just don't understand how
he did it to all those artists. Why on earth would you allow him? Why would you go into a contract with him? If he did it to all these other people, what made you think you would be different? That's the part I don't understand. I can see it from anybody who came to Bad Boy in the beginning, but anybody who saw how he interacted with everyone else, prior to them, there's no way I would have done a contract with him. That's the part I'm talking about.
If Puffy didn't pay nobody, my conversation would be a lot different. People act like Puffy didn't pay nobody, and that's just a lie. It's a lie. They got paid. They felt like they should have made a lot more. That's the problem. But they got paid. Biggie got paid. He sold Puffy his whole publishing. And motherfuckers running around here talking about, Puffy knew he took advantage of Biggie. Get the fuck out of it. Biggie was in the streets. He was in the streets. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't really think he was gonna make no money in the rap game. So he sold his publishing. That's on him. That's on him. He was a grown man. He was a grown man. He was already taking chances on his life, his health, and his freedom. He went to jail. You would think anybody who go to jail for a year or more, you would think that they got enough brains to read some shit before they sign it. But he paid Biggie. People wanted him to pay Biggie more in death than in life. I didn't hear Biggie complaining about Puffy while he was alive. It's everybody else I'm complaining about him in his death. But he made the decision to sell him his publishing. Puffy was just being a smart businessman. Like, shit, you gonna sell me all your publishing? Shit, I'm gonna promote the shit out of you. And he did. It ain't like it was a conflict of interest where he was his record label and his manager. Cause that's the shit that Silas was doing over in Silas Records with Shantae Moore. But and I bring that kind of shit up because all the record labels do the same shit. I just wonder how come. Oh, this is what I was getting to earlier when I asked, what's the difference between Bad Boy and these other record labels? The difference between Bad Boy and these other record labels, and I hate to sound like I'm defending Bad Boy, but the difference between Bad Boy and these other record labels is success and exposure. That's the only difference. It ain't like Bad Boy Records was making more money than any of these other labels. It wasn't like that. Nobody made more money than Def Jam Records. But the exposure because of Puffy's ability to promote. He only promoted one artist at a time. So if Biggie would have been alive, Mace might have never came out. Real shit. He would have been doing features like Black Rob was and like G Depp was and all those other artists he had signed because it was a bunch of them. If Biggie would have been alive, he would have kept all of his concentration on Biggie. He didn't do a bunch of artists at the same time. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that. When Mace came out, nobody else came out. Everybody had to wait. When Mace was done, then Black Rob came out. Nobody else. When Black Rob was done, then G Depp came out. Nobody else. It was starting to fizzle out then. But these are grown men and women. It's not like, we're not talking about Lil Bow Wow or Lil Romeo or somebody like that. These were grown men and women. They got to take in any other industry, they would have had to take accountability for what they signed and how and whatever happened after that. What up, Buana? What up, Carrie Zilla? I think I saw Troy. Did I say Troy? Oh, that's Tyrone. My bad. What up? Oh, never mind. Oh no, fuck you, Tyrone. So yeah. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I mean, fuck that nigga. The thing is, if you compare a record contract to a 9-to-5 job contract, because when you go get a 9-to-5 job, you sign a contract too. Nobody reads that shit. But you find out about the shit that's in the contract once you start fucking up, thinking that none of that shit mattered. Thinking that as long as I do my job, it don't matter what blah, 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 blah. And then you find out, like, no. We can fire you based on this. Based on what? The shit that's in your contract. So you go on Facebook and you say your job is fucked up, or you badmouth your coworkers, or do a bunch of other things unbecoming of an employee of that company, and you didn't read the social media clause in your contract. All you knew was that you were supposed to be making $26 an hour. That's all you read. You figured all you need to know was how much you was getting paid and how much Uncle Sam was going to take, and that was it. Well, no, there's plenty of other shit in there that limits the things that you can do. So just like when you sign a record contract, you can't just do collabos and shit without paying the record company. Well, the same way that when you sign a contract for a 9-to-5 job, you can't just go work for the competition like it's sweet like that. Even part-time, you can't do it. And it's in your contract. But you ain't...
The person who owns the contract knows all the loopholes.
Everybody has the opportunity to read the goddamn contract. That's my position. Just because you lazy or just because you're lazy doesn't make somebody a predator. Just because you don't do your due diligence and you just expect for everybody to coddle you like they're your parents. Like, oh no, I'm going to prepare you for this cruel world. I got you. Ain't nobody got you. You got you. And evidently you didn't have yourself because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So you ain't going to teach your kids to do that shit either because you ain't learned it. I mean, really, it's in the fucking contract. If the contracts don't even be long, that's the shit. That's the crazy part. When you sign a movie contract, even just as an extra and shit, them contracts be long as fuck. I understand why somebody don't get a lawyer. I mean, you ain't making enough money. Get your little SAG extra contract, your little SAG extra money, and I mean, get the fuck on. But once you start making some real money in the movies, yeah, make sure that shit is right. But you know that you ain't getting none of that box office money. You already know that. The same thing with a 9-to-5 job. You know you're not touching none of the profits. You probably don't even know where your salary is coming from with a 9-to-5 job. You don't even give a fuck. You said that you know that you getting paid $25 an hour. You good with that salary. And you just kept it moving. But with a record company, it may say in the contract that you making $25 an hour. But you didn't read the shit. So you thinking that, oh, I sold all of these records, so I should be getting, I sold 1 million records, I should have at least $1 million. Motherfucker, you ain't getting $1 on every fucking record. Where do you think you getting that from? They gave you a bunch of money up front. Where do you think you got that studio time from? What you think that's included in the contract? Them top producers that you hired. What you think what? What if you had to pay for them yourself? Could you? No, you couldn't, right? We provided for you to be able to do it with the money that we gave you. Now, if you went and smoked up the money or bought a car, a house, and all of that shit balled out in the hood, now you ain't got enough money to make your fucking album. But you owe us that album, no? Now all right, so you don't have enough money to buy to make an album. Maybe we can give you a couple of more dollars so you can make this little ragtag album with these little rinky-dink producers and shit with this little bullshit equipment. All right, so the record gets put out. I hope it sell, because if it don't, we're going to drop you. We're going to drop you, but we ain't dropping you all the way. You ain't going to go, you ain't going to you messed up our money. You think you're going to go to another label and get money with them? Well, no, the fuck you're not. You're going to make good with us first. I just don't look at certain things as predatory like other people do. Because it's if you don't do what the contract states, because you know somebody can't read it or doesn't have the ability, that's one thing. But if you did what you were supposed to do, then it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective. If motherfuckers, I understand, they think I was supposed to do the right thing. Well, they should have did the right thing. Read the fucking contract or get a lawyer to do it. Come back to the table.
I still believe the person who owns the contract knows the loopholes. And they know their way around a lot of different things. That's the other side of it. You can read it all day long if you don't understand legalese and understand all of the parameters.
The loopholes are in the contract. The loopholes are literally in the contract. Huh?
Like I work on the contract that I put out. I know all the loopholes in my contract. So if a person who contracts me to do whatever, I know how to fight them in the court because I know legalese. And I know the loopholes in my contract. For example, if I fill out an NDA, here's the perfect example. One of these places that I was contracted with for 6 years, they had me sign an NDA. Of course, it means I can't be in competition with them. So I have my own business that I started, and it has one of the names of their type of product in it. It's not their personal product. It's a universal word, but they tried to own it. And they wanted to take me to court, and I'm ready. Let's go. Because I'm not in competition with you. We're not selling the same thing, but it sounds like it to them. So I want them to take me to court because I'm going to win it. I want them to take me to court. But they won't because they know they can't. Because in the NDA, it states I can't. It's a non-compete kind of thing. But I'm not in competition with them. We're not selling the same thing or providing the same service, even though it's that one word that sounds the same. That's a loophole that I'm aware of. They're not. So that's why I'm like, let's go. There's a lady who wants to sue me for my logo now because she says she owns it. It's hers, that she created it. And what her stupid ass doesn't know, it's actually my case. But she thinks she owns the rights to it. She thinks she's created it and everything. I know the loopholes in my contract. If I put out my contract, I know every word of it because I designed it. So I know any loophole in it where I'm always going to win.
That's a different kind of contract than we're talking about. Because I
think anybody who creates
what you're talking about is not.
They know the loophole.
Okay, well then, if you write the contract up, you should know.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But that doesn't make you a predator.
In a sense, it does. If it's designed definitely with the intent to take advantage, it does make you a predator.
No, that doesn't make you a predator.
Now, it makes to protect you. That's one thing. But if it's designed intentionally to take advantage of, it does make it predatory.
You're throwing around the word. You're throwing around the phrase "take advantage of," and you haven't clearly defined that. Because to take advantage of somebody,
I did clearly define it. If your intention is to take advantage of someone who lacks the knowledge or understanding, and you intentionally decide, I know I can take advantage of this person, that is exactly what it means. It's predatory.
Wait, Kim, you're just using the words take advantage of it. What does taking advantage mean? And explain it without saying take advantage of.
Exploit. If your goal is to exploit someone, that's what it means. Exploit.
Do you know exploit means to show? That's what the word exploit means. It means to show something. I need a better synonym. Now, okay. Now, if I use my brain, I think what you mean by taking advantage of somebody is to harm them in some kind of way, to cheat them in some kind of way. Is that right?
And exploit doesn't mean any of that?
No, it actually doesn't. Not in its definition, it doesn't. The way we use it, it does. The same way we use take advantage of somebody, it doesn't. Taking advantage of somebody does not mean to harm or cheat them. It doesn't mean that. And its implication, that's how we use it. But no, that's not what it actually means. No. And this is
that the Son version?
Tell you what, why don't you just look it up? Because this is why contracts are important, and this is why vocabulary is important. Because when people know how to use words but don't know what they really mean. Just like when I was younger, because I used to watch a lot of horror movies, I thought the word possessed meant the devil was taking over your body. I didn't know that possessed only meant ownership. I didn't know that. Just like when we say that somebody is controlling, we think that it means that they're telling somebody else what to do. We don't know that just means to navigate something. So the way we use
doesn't take advantage of.
The word exploit does not mean take advantage of. No, it doesn't. I'm just talking about the
Sun dictionary or the actual Webster dictionary.
Did you look the word up?
Yeah, I'm going to right now.
Okay, I mean,
I think you're wrong. I absolutely sure you're wrong.
It was one of my vocabulary words, so I know it's not. I know it's not wrong. It was literally one of my vocabulary words in like the 5th grade.
Exploit someone means to take advantage of.
No. Look up the word exploit. Wait a minute. Because you're using it in the way that we use it. Look up the word exploit. Just the word exploit. What is the definition of the word exploit?
I'm waiting for you to tell me, because apparently reading it ain't gonna be it. So you tell me.
Okay, exploit a bold or daring feat, make full use of and derive benefit from a resource. Okay. Make full use of and derive benefit from a resource. A bold or daring feat. That's why I said that it means to show something. A software tool designed to take advantage of a flawed computer system. That's some computer shit.
Yeah, we're talking about people.
There's a different. I'm just talking about what the word actually means versus the way that we use them. I clearly said that, Kim.
So we should never use the word if we're not using it in that way.
What I'm saying is, this is why people run into problems with contracts, because they understand how a word is used and they don't understand what the word actually means. So when you're dealing with
the person who writes the contract knows how to use those words to create a loophole or something to solidify their contract they create to take advantage of another person in specific ways.
And the person who signs a contract has an opportunity to read the contract, go over the contract, and make sure that they understand. And make sure that they understand what a contract means.
What's up, Carrie?
Hey, is this Carrie? Is this Carrie? Hi. What's up, girl? Well, I do exploit people every day. I work for a finance company with the state, which I'm not going to disclose either or, but I do several contracts a day, and we have a pretty hefty finance charge to loan money. It's like renting money. But you have to, some people have to really prove, I don't know, I go through a lot of exploitive contracts every day. So are you Beads as a woman? You have to be. Because you guys are on during the day too. Sometimes I'm bored at work, I'll see you.
No. I'm never on during the day.
Oh, am I online? Oh, shit. Sorry.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't know it was online. Okay. I work in a finance company that partners with the state I live in. I'd rather not disclose either.
Okay.
But we are exploitive. And I exploit people every day. For the last 8 months, cheap Carrie. Money. Cheap Carrie.
No, this is Carriezilla. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Yeah, anyway, I'm just saying, I know what it's like to exploit people. I know what it's like to charge people that just want $100, $54 to rent it to them. That really can't, like, on fixed income. And it sucks. It's part of my job, and I don't get paid enough to care. I get paid hourly, and I can do from like anywhere from 40 to 52 to 60 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So,
but you say you don't get paid enough to care. What you?
Yeah, I can't. I don't get paid enough to care. And I left I used to work at a upscale senior living community. And I cared way too much. And then I went to Taco Bell, and that food's freaking hard. It is hard work. But now I'm in a finance company, partnered with the state I live in, and there's Truth and Lending Laws, that's called the TILA. The Truth and Lending Act, that's TILA. There's 10 state laws, and then the rest of it is you're signing your jury, like any, if you go into deferment with us for whatever reason, you're signing your right to like arbitration or jury trial, or else we will not, if you don't sign it all the way and initial it, we will not loan you the money. So we're like, you have to sign a contract saying that you're not going to even try to fight us in court.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, look, anybody who thinks they're going to get a whole lot of something for nothing, I don't know what to tell you.
I work really hard. The best I got paid was Walmart, and I should have stayed with that job. That was a good one, but I cared most about the Brook, and I got paid about $1.20 less. There was a community home and health, and then I shouldn't even say it. And then Taco Bell, and then now I'm in finance with the state. And it's a lot of auditing and specific rules of information. Like every once in a while, they just throw audit at us to make sure that we're not, being lax on books. because through the state I live in too, we partner. I'm sure your state or maybe had like lending and cash, like, oh, we don't have an account, you want to cash a check. We charge 11.69 for a person-to-person check.
Oh, wow.
Payroll 4.69. Yeah. So like if your grandma writes you a check for $500, we're getting 11.69% of that. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's like
that's a good amount.
Half of a tip.
That's a good
you
amount.
know. Yeah. So, but like, or we can go to a bank and wait, or it's up to you. It's $107 question. But anyway, I also move around from the half, or the half of the state that I live. I travel as a customer service representative, but I do get paid drive time and gas mileage, which is 55 cents a gallon, which is helpful when you're broke. It's like, and you're like, I go paycheck to paycheck. Even my college kids seem to be draining my savings. Like, I'm still paying for one of them. They're like their Walmart, the grocery bill, and all this. They're adults, but they're young adults. They're Gen Zers too, guys. I'm young for I don't know how young you guys are.
I'm old.
You look great, but you do look a little older than you, but not that much older than me.
Well, I'm 55.
Like,
How old are you?
47. Really? 55?
Yeah, I'm 55.
Wow. Well, good for you. Fantastic.
I'm feeling 55. I sneezed and fucked up my side.
I feel like I need help right now because I'm going off the rails on, substances and whatnot.
We're talking about the definition of the word exploit, and in the Sun dictionary doesn't mean anything related to what I said it means. But if you go by the Merriam or Webster dictionary,
yo, stop saying Sun dictionary, because what I said, what
it means to take advantage of.
Look, just because I understand vocabulary and you understand the way words are used, that don't get mad at me.
You're the only smart person in the room. Is that
I'm not.
saying?
No, what I'm saying is I know the meanings of words.
Exactly what I said is what it is.
It wasn't.
You use
it was not. It wasn't the same. What I said it meant is
unfairly to take unfair advantage.
That's not even what the definition was.
That is the definition in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
I have, my brother and I tried to make a record, but we have this like piano. It's an old Korg, piano. And we took our tape recorder and make certain sounds, like with pop bottles and weird stuff, and put it on keys. And then, what? Oh shit, I gotta put you on speakerphone. That's what it is. Okay. Well, anyway,
oh boy, she just got clicked off. I think she was signing out anyway.
She started her holiday celebration early. That's what it sounds like.
But my definition said make full use and derive benefit from a resource.
The thing about it is, son, there's more than one definition to the word. You act like it can't be multiple things at once, and it can. We're not talking about technology. We're not talking about computing. We're not talking about that. We are talking about the use of the word when it comes to people, not electronics, and it's used as a verb. That's the way I'm using it. That's the way we're speaking about it. And the exact.
I understand what you're saying. What I was saying was, like I said, when you understand the word in and of itself, then you can start applying it.
So there's only one meaning of it?
No. What I'm saying is, if you look up the way that the word is used before you actually look up the word, then you get a misconception of what the word actually is.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Well, no, it does make sense. Now, just because it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I mean? So just like you're saying that it can mean different things, but then you want to, but when it doesn't go your way, you want to flip it back and say that doesn't make sense to you. Now, I mean, that's oxymoronic. That's oxymoronic.
That's what you're doing, because you have your version of a dictionary that you own.
First of all, Kim, before I told you what the word, you couldn't even say what the word meant. You only could.
Because when I started to read it, you interrupted.
No, I'm talking about before you looked it up. You could not say for certain what the word meant. Yes or no?
I said exactly what it meant.
You said the way we.
Exactly what it meant.
You did not say exactly.
You said it doesn't mean that.
And it doesn't. It says to make full use of and derive benefit from a resource. Now, there are other ways that you can use it where it will be unfair or selfish in an unfair or selfish way. But it doesn't mean that that's the only way that you can use it.
Okay.
I mean, you can laugh all you want. There are more ways, just like there are more than one definition for it. There are more than one way to use it. And if you lock yourself into it only being used one way, then you get a narrow view of using it. And this is why motherfuckers be thinking that they've been taken advantage of or that they've been cheated when they haven't been. Because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So you hold on, no, fuck all that shit you talk about. So because you didn't get a lawyer to look over your contract, and because you didn't take care of you didn't handle your business, and you didn't read, and you didn't do what you could have and should have done up front, you blaming another man who did what he was supposed to do because he was deliberate in his shit. So you were looking for somebody to take care of you, and it didn't work. And now you mad at a record company, you mad at a company, you mad at somewhere, you mad at everybody except for yourself for not doing what you had the opportunity to do up front, and because it was your money. So you talking about somebody stole from you, took from you, and took advantage of you when you did not protect your money. You did not watch your money. You did not even make sure you knew where your money was coming from. And you know how you could have. James Brown, one thing he said that caught my attention a long time ago, because he only had like a 4th grade education or some shit like that. He said his reading level was only on like 3rd or 4th grade. He said, all I need to know is this. If I sell this much, how much am I getting? If I sell 10 records, how much money do I get?
But he got taken advantage of. I mean, he lost on a bunch of contracts too.
He spent a lot of money and he was on drugs and he was fucking up money. It happens.
Yeah, but he signed contracts that were bad too.
He was on drugs. When you on drugs, you what?
He was on drugs.
When you're on, you know what, Kim? When you're on drugs, you don't make sound decisions a lot of times.
My question was, was he using drugs when he first signed the contract?
I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't born yet.
So that's what I'm asking.
I know that that he was a known drug abuser. He went to jail for drug abuse. That's what I do know.
His excuse to protect him is because he was on drugs.
I also know that he owned his own record company. He had a plane, and he was throwing money around and fucking up with the IRS. I know those things too. So I'm not going, but the important thing that I remember him saying that caught my attention was, how much money am I getting? I mean, are you afraid to ask? How much am I going to get? If I sell 100,000 records, how much money will I get? What's wrong with asking that? Is that in the contract? You can ask that too. But I'll bet you.
I don't understand in 2020 anything how anyone is getting taken advantage of.
And I don't understand how in 2025 how motherfuckers think they are being taken advantage of when they didn't do what the fuck they were supposed to do. That's like a motherfucker not paying tickets, paying his parking tickets, and not understanding how come he got a boot on his car.
We're not saying the same thing.
We're talking about the same thing. We are talking about the same thing because you didn't do what you were supposed to do and you was expecting a better result. Simple and plain.
And we're not saying the same thing.
And you're thinking like, yeah, but you ain't have to boot my car. I only had one ticket and you know. I've been there. I've been the motherfucker complaining about the shit. But guess what? I had to pay to get that boot off. Regardless. Bet you I'll make a better decision next time. You have the event. I just look at exploitation and being taken advantage of in a different way. I think like the man who's paying out, not like the one who's waiting for a check. I don't think like that. So because I think like the man who's paying out, I know I better read some shit. I better make sure that I cross my T's and dot my I's and make sure I know what's going on. Because when you talk about money, you're not talking about ethics. You're not talking about you're not talking about family and all of that old bullshit that motherfuckers be talking about. You're not. Motherfuckers is gonna start getting ill on you. Let me take this part of this little time out to say, fuck Century. Fuck you, pussy. The fuck out of here. Eat a dick. Eat a dick. Chomp, 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 chomp. What up, my people's time? What's going on? And Carpa buy it. Fuck that pussy, bitch ass nigga. Yo, these motherfuckers be killing me.
What is it?
Oh, you know, hold on, my bad. Fuck Carpet by it too. Fuck him too. His mom got a dick. Suck your mom's dick, Carpet by it. Let that motherfucker eat a dick. Chomp, 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 chomp. Fuck out of here. These motherfuckers do not understand. They do not understand who they fucking with. I don't give a fuck about these bitch ass niggas. For real. The fuck out of here. Get off my dick. Get the fuck off my live, pussy. You know what I mean? What they think this shit is.
We went from the Florida Patrol to Pac-Man.
Look, they don't understand. It was people in this live before you got here. There's gonna be people here when you leave. Give a fuck what y'all talking about. Motherfuckers ain't got nothing better to do. Motherfuckers ain't got nothing better to do damn near 3 o'clock in the morning. Fuck out of here. Tell your mom to suck your sister's dick. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I know you the only man in your family and shit, including your father. You know what I mean? Your mom and your dad was scissoring each other. The fuck kind of shit is that? Explain that shit to me, you asexual motherfucker.
All we need is for you to start punching, and that's it. I'm done.
You the first child born when your mom and dad only scissored each other. You was born out of holding hands, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Not the same disease they said Hitler had a little teeny.
Motherfucker, you was born out of a platonic relationship. Explain that shit. You know what I'm saying? Your mom and your dad wasn't number friends, and they fucked up one night. Now they ain't even cool no more. Explain that shit, bitch ass nigga.
To get roasted. I came on the show to get
I'm not
roasted.
feeling. Look, I ain't feeling well. They caught me on the right day. Fuck these niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's almost Thanksgiving. I'm about to get with these turkeys. I'm about to start carving these bitches up. Fuck out of here. Make me mad. Your mom and your dad. That's right, Mia. Your mom and the dad scissoring each other. What the fuck is y'all doing? Your mom and your dad got caught by their mom and dad. They were like, "What the hell are y'all doing?"
Imagine coming into a chat thinking you trolling and you get trolled. Just imagine that.
Your mom got pregnant. Your mom got pregnant with you, and she got accused of sneak dicking. That shit wasn't supposed to happen. Her belly started growing. His belly started growing, and your other mom was like, "Motherfucker, no, God damn it, no. Talking about, I can't believe you let another woman near my pussy. Fuck out of here. Sick of these bitch ass niggas. Motherfuckers got the attention they deserve now. They ain't commenting. Motherfucker, say something, bitch. Tell these you better talk now. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers. No! Who got you big? 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 Ah, no, goddamn no!
Probably regret.
Remember Color Purple? Who got you big? Motherfuckers. Enough is a fucking enough.
I felt like I should never clicked on this bullshit here. This nigga.
Oh, Lord. Kim, you better go get your inhaler. The fuck are you doing?
Oh, your shower's still there. You took time. You had time. You took time. You made it. Y'all ain't gone and I even said nothing else. What you said? They wasn't go trolling. They wasn't even ready. They didn't come in prepared or nothing.
Know what I mean? Motherfuckers had on slides. They should have had on boots. Get the fuck out of here. They had no idea I was gonna be sick of the bullshit.
They was not
Not tonight, goddamn, not tonight.
Oh my hair hurts so bad.
All right, let's go to the poll. We got 26 votes on the poll. All right, what would you expect from a record contract? 27% said fame and riches. Sounds right. 27% also said freedom of musical expression. And 12% said paid studio time. And 33%, which is the biggest percentage, said a signing bonus or upfront money. Now, these aren't unrealistic expectations of a record contract. And you may get a semblance of all of these in a record contract. But at the end of the day, the record contract is to secure the money that's going to be made from this job. When I was trying to,
I think a lot of contracts. I think a lot of people with I think a lot of excuse me, a lot of people with contracts do want upfront. Like my contract, you have to pay me upfront before I start anything,
and that's fine.
A lot of contracts are like that upfront.
No, that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that having a record contract is just like having a job. There are a list of expectations that are in the contract that have to be abided by. Now, when you start expecting more because of the expectations that were outlined in the contract, you know what I mean? If that's not listed in the contract, then, you know, either you shouldn't have signed it or you should at least made sure that you understood how it was going to go. You know, this ain't a handshake or a verbal contract. This is the real shit. That's why people sign on a dotted line, because it's legal. Those verbal contracts are left to speculation because of the he say, she say aspect of it. When that shit is written, you know what I mean, you can take that shit to court all day. You're going to have to prove that they made you sign the contract under false pretenses. If you can't prove that, and even sometimes, even if you can prove that, it might not go your way. but I don't use words like unfair or taking advantage of lightly, because at the end of the day, when you're the one paying out, you look at things differently than when you are waiting for a check. Just like at the job, you got 3,000 employees and they all waiting to get paid every 2 weeks. When you're the one writing those checks every 2 weeks, you are going to make sure that those people are earning their money. It's a different mindset. Now, plenty of people have been on jobs and they don't even know how much money they making for a company. They just know how much they get paid hourly or whatever, or salary. That's all they know, and that's all they care about. But when we get into entertainment contracts, we start thinking more along the lines of percentage. Well, I sold this many records. Well, how come I'm not getting this much? Because you didn't invest no money into yourself. I did. I took a chance on you. You didn't take a chance on me. You knew I had money. I'm the record company. I gave you money. Your record wouldn't be playing in Europe, Asia, Africa, the United States, all 50 states. It wouldn't be playing. We did that. We made sure that you got promoted. We got the album art for your jacket and your covers and all that. We did the photo shoots. We did the promotional tour for you. We made sure that your record was we paid off the DJs to spend your records in the clubs and on the radios and all that kind of stuff. We invested money in you. And you think that you sold 2 million records all by yourself? No, the fuck you didn't. You didn't do that. And you're going to pay us back what we put into you. That's that. And you ain't making a dime until you pay us back. And then once you pay us back, we start from zero, and then you start making money, whatever it was that you signed contractually. Now, you can say that's unfair all you want. It wasn't unfair when you was holding that $1 million. You went back to the hood. Your record ain't even finished yet. You riding around in a Benz. The week before the contract, you know, music artists can't make no money without a record deal. Ain't nobody paying you because they don't have to. If you like a band or something like that, you get paid to play like weddings and stuff like that. But if you a singer, ain't nobody paying you. You ain't got no record contract because they don't have to, and they won't. It ain't like that. It ain't like comedians. Comedians get paid immediately. Singers, no, they don't. You don't make a dime before you. Well, it's really, really, really hard to make money before you get signed because they ain't got to pay you.
I just realized I was having a good time talking to myself because I had to press the mute so I could cough and I forgot to press it. Excuse me. So I was just talking. Let me try to walk back a little questions I had. So one of the things I was saying to nobody was that's why, again, in this day and age, I would not understand why any music artist would have a problem with a record label and a contract with every asset at their fingertips so they can completely understand a contract, excuse me, or doing their own thing. And then the other thing I said, if more artists really took time to recognize that they are the talent, I don't think they would. I mean, back then they would have gotten into, excuse me, those issues if they understood they were the talent, because at the end of the day, we know Puffy wasn't talented. He was always on stage and always in the face, but that nigga didn't have no talent. It was the artist who had the talent. And then the other thing, excuse me, that I was going to ask, and then you just mentioned it, do you think it's the same for the entertainment industry when it comes to film and television and for comedians? Because I think about it with comedians, they have a whole different take on it. It's new comedians, like right now. For example, like Ali Sadiq, you know, he controls his own stuff. He makes his own terms. He makes his own deals. He does not use these other people to control it. And I think he's successful the way he's doing it himself, along with some of the newer comedians. And I mean, people like to say it, but the internet comedians, some of them are doing extremely well, like a Kev on stage, like a Tahir Moore. But that whole team, Patrick Cloud, that team, they are doing extremely well because they recognize they are the talent, versus some artists from back in the day, like Richard Pryor and people like that. Red Fox and you were caught up in those kind of deals. But I wonder, do you think it's the same for them like it is in the music industry? Because I don't recall hearing as many people being taken advantage of or misunderstanding the contracts when it comes to film and television or when it comes to comedians. But it seems like it was just so rampant in the music industry. And of course, more with Black artists than any, not saying it didn't happen, because we know the Beatles had a bad deal at one point. But it just seemed like maybe it's because, you know, our community, that's what we heard about more. But maybe that's the reason why. But it feels like it was more to the Black artists than anybody from decade to decade to decade.
talent is not limited to black artists, and bad contracts are not limited to black artists. Plenty of white artists have gotten shitted on. Plenty. All entertainment, and there's no difference between comedians and singers and all that kind of stuff. Most comedians don't even need like a manager or anything until they start being known nationally. But a comedian can start making money on stage almost the first time he gets on stage, because you play in smaller venues and smaller promoters and stuff like that. So you could start up getting $75, $100, just to stand on stage. But if you start touring and stuff like that, and you don't need like a machine to be a stand-up comedian. You can do your own bookings and all that kind of stuff. And most comedians do their own bookings and all of that because they're not dealing with the movies yet and major contracts. They're dealing with, they already know what's in the contract. All right, we're going to pay for you. We're going to pay for your transportation, your hotel, the dates that you play this place or whatever, all the drinks you want, food and all that kind of shit in the place that you're performing. So it's not hard. And because I live this life, I understand the whole thing with the comedian thing. So those entertainment is entertainment. But you're always the talent, and you're not just the talent when you're in entertainment. You're the talent when you're in a 9 to 5 job too. So that's why. Well,
I said that before, because I say we all are walking around millionaires for real, because we've made these companies millionaires.
Yeah,
we just don't get the residuals from the work we put in.
Because talent does not make money, business makes money. Yeah. So you may be the talent, and you may be the top talent, but until you become the top business, it ain't going to matter, because they can shut you on and they can turn you the fuck out. So you may be a talent, but they are the machine that made you who you are. Because you could be the funniest, or you could be the greatest, or whatever it is that you do. If nobody gets a chance to see you, it doesn't matter. So those record companies or those studios or whatever, they put you in position to be seen. And of course, you're going to make more money for the studios or for the record company than you're going to get. But somehow we forget that shit. Somehow we think that it's supposed to be 50-50 when only one person is paying money out. I don't understand how that math is not easy to see. So you think that, all right, but I'm doing all the work. Yes, you are doing all the work, but you're not doing the work of investment. How did you get from Pennsylvania to California? You didn't pay for that. Who did? Yeah, but and how did your instruments get there? And your band members and that entourage that your homies that you like to take everywhere. Who paid for the pussy that you got after the shows? All of that shit. Motherfuckers, miraculously forget about all of that shit. They think all of that shit is included. But that's because of all of the drinking that they doing and all of the drugging. It's fucking up their thinking. Real shit. But if they was the one actually having to pay out, all of this shit would be crystal clear to them. Crystal clear. Oh, well, we got to get such and such. We got to get them from Pennsylvania to New York, to D.C., down to Miami, over to New Orleans, to Houston, up to Oklahoma City, to Phoenix, Arizona, Seattle, down to Portland, then to California. He eating, drinking, smoking, fucking. And we paying for all of that. And he think it's all included. Well, he'll see. Or she'll see. And they're going to be claiming bloody murder when they go home and they ain't get no money. Now, in the case of like New Edition, when they were kids, they weren't on drugs or none of that kind of shit. They got shitted on, for sure. But they had to blame their parents. You mean to tell me you sent your 13, 14, and 15-year-old kids along with some man on tour without the parents being there?
Oh, you know how I feel about that, because I feel that way about when they were talking about Noah's mom let him go live with Jermaine Dupree. And I'm like, there is no fucking way on this planet would I ever let my child go live with a grown-ass man just because he made it sound like, well, this is the only way he can break into the business. Like, people they talk bad about Miss Norwood, Brandy's mother, but she was like, my baby's not going to go live anywhere. She's going to live at home at my house. And she's got rules, and she has a curfew and all the things. And they felt like, well, she hindered Brandy's success. She could have been more successful if her mother wasn't. And I heard the term meddling in her business. Meddling in her business. She's a child, a minor. She's everything she does is her business. That's what
Brandy was uber successful and very loose with the ass and very good at giving head, according to Fredro Starr. But so it don't matter how much chaperoning you do, you ain't gonna stop a hoe from being a hoe. Shout out to Brandy, very good artist. But bottom line is, they people in the case of New Edition got taken advantage of because they parents didn't know shit and didn't do shit. Even if you don't know that much. You know, you don't even know to ask how much you supposed to make. Yeah, how much you gotta shit on welfare, you know how much your check is. You know how much food stamps you supposed to get when it hit. You mean tell me that you just let your boys go, you know, they out on stage, you hear them on the radio and all of that, they come home with $1. What they say their check was each? Like $1.81? Back to the projects? Let me look that shit up. It was some.
You don't think that label was predatory because they were kids?
I do. I think I think their label was predatory not just because they were kids, but because they knew they had parents who didn't know shit. They weren't kids.
So what makes that different than what I said earlier about some of the ones who were kids in the 40s, 50s, 60s who had
they weren't kids. They weren't kids. Those were adults. New Edition was
Ricky Lyman was a kid.
I ain't talking about no damn Ricky Lyman.
I said 40s, 50s, 60s.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm talking about adults who signed contracts and didn't get lawyers. And I'm talking, even if I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about kids who have parents. Kids who have parents are supposed to have representation by the parent. So yeah, I agree with the New Edition thing. But New Edition, evidently, them motherfuckers ain't smart enough to read no contracts at no part of their life. Them motherfuckers have been with 3 different labels and they ain't got paid by one of them. They don't know what the fuck they doing. Shout out to Robbie, Bobby, Ronnie, Mike, Bobby, Ricky, everybody except for Johnny. Shout out to them.
Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
Yeah. Shout out to them. But them motherfuckers ain't smart. They ain't. They ain't learn. They don't learn. Evidently, these motherfuckers always thinking that somebody's going to take care of them. Take care of yourself. At least one of y'all know something because Michael Bivins was giving out predatory contracts to everybody else.
But there's so many people in the industry who ended up in these situations.
But all of them, what all of them have in common, is that none of them did what the fuck they should have done in the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. No one understood, like, in all the things that people have come out, there was no one to teach the artists or pre-artists or nobody told the next coming up. It's like no one spoke to anyone or they all found out. I don't understand how everybody found out at the same time. And no one knew from any previous mistakes.
Listen, somebody else's situation is somebody else's situation. Just because you didn't make it in a situation doesn't mean that I'm not going to make it in a similar situation. You know what I mean? Just like it'd be like, just because you don't know how to play blackjack as well doesn't mean that I'm not going to win because I know how to play. So yeah, I can see you losing thousands of dollars playing blackjack. That's not going to stop me from playing blackjack. You don't know how to play. That's your problem. You don't know how to play. You keep playing and don't know how to play. Well, I know how to play. So my results, I don't expect my results to mirror your results. Simple as that. It's not the record label. It's the fucking artists that are not doing.
I didn't say the record label.
Well, in Bad Boy, we were saying the label. We were saying the label, and we were saying Puffy. That's exactly what we were doing.
No, I mean, just now, I'm saying I don't understand how there was no each one teach one in the process. That it was so many.
What they going to teach? What they going to teach each other? All they know is they got jerked. I don't think they learned. I don't think they really learned. They got it fixed, but just because you, all right, in the case of a Toni Braxton, she may have persevered. The same thing with TLC. They may have sued and got paid, but did they really learn what happened?
Toni didn't learn because it happened to her multiple
exactly. There we have it. Let's do these birthday shout outs.
Like, what happened here? What was the sale?
She's not paying attention. Instead of learning that she needs to do better next time, I think what she was looking to learn was, I need to have better people around me that'll take care of me. No accountability. All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious November 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Tiffany Doc Waters, and also Janiyah Geiger, and Daphne Page, Betty Whitted, yeah, Ernest Edwards, Devin Hockaday Jr., Same Rather, my people Same Rather, and also Shanice Truesdale, Jermaine Jones, Nina La Taylor, and last but not least, Charlene Moulton Jackson. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all, and I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious November 21st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out. Rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember this. Scorpio's time is up. Today is gone. It's Sagittarius time. So if anything start acting haywire, going crazy, speaking all crazy out of turn, saying all kinds of shit that don't make no kind of sense and wasn't well thought out, and it may still be kind of truthful, just know it's Sagittarius time. Them motherfuckers turn up. It's about to be some shit. Other than that, anytime you sign a contract, read that shit. You know what I'm saying? We run into the same kind of shit when it comes to credit cards.
Oh God, yes.
Don't nobody read that shit when it comes to credit cards. You look at that percentage rate, but at least you did that. At least you did that. Some motherfuckers be like, yo, what's this $95 charge? I ain't even spent nothing on the card yet. Oh, it's an annual fee. Annual fee? Yeah, dumbass. It's an annual fee.
Hey, you know what you should have used? All these people going to jail and getting arrested and losing their money and life because of the PPP contracts. Remember those? And now people going to jail for them now. So, yeah.
And the funny thing about those PPP contracts was they was trying to get over. They thought that the fucking government wasn't reading the contracts. Dumb motherfuckers. Dumb motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Reverse predatory type. That was predatory borrowing. Motherfuckers swore they was getting some free money. Like, oh, the country is all fucked up. We gonna get money. They ain't even gonna know who they gave money to. Dumbass. Oh, dumb motherfuckers. But anyway, shit happens the way it happens. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. for another Urban Therapy with Sun show. So make sure y'all come on through. I'm going to bed, man. I'm tired, not feeling like all of that and whatever. This took a lot out of me. You know what I mean? It might have pumped some life into me too. But anyway, Kim, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you. I don't know what Troy is into, but hopefully.
Happy birthday today, Getters. Happy birthday.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully Troy is okay. I'm sure he is. I'm gonna holler at him, make sure, I mean, he just sleeping or some shit like that. All right.
Go with everybody. Peace, everybody. Stay safe. Love your loved ones, and have a good tomorrow until we all meet.
Hold on, Kim.
What?
Marjorie Taylor Greene quitting Congress. Yo.
Hey.
Yo.
I went to sleep and woke up to 10 messages, and I was like, I haven't had a chance.
Yo.
What did I miss? Tell me quick. Give me the speed.
No. I'll call you later. That shit, it's too much for right now. I gotta get the fuck off this show. All right. I'll holler at y'all later.
Everybody.
1:30 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. Make sure y'all come through for the Urban Therapy with Sun show. That shit is going to be a movie. Y'all have a good night. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And I will holler back at y'all. Peace.